Hi, you guys. Okay, today is March 8th. This is our first book discussion for the Champagne Diet, and I'm super excited to just hear everyone's takeaways and what we're going to learn. So I'm going to record this for people who want to go back and watch it too. We'll have that. But this is a little bit shorter book, so we're actually only going to have 3 meetings this month instead of 4, which I think will be great. And there's just a lot to apply, which there always is. And I think that that's the fun part of doing this together is, you know, being able to apply what we read about, what we learn, and just being able to kind of share some best practices around that too. So, but good. So welcome. So does anyone kind of want to share just anything that they have kind of taken away? So we're going to kind of dive into the introduction through chapters 3 tonight, but anyone have any particular areas they want to make sure we cover or talk about, or any aha moments, things that were like, yes, I want to make sure we get into that, or favorite quotes or anything like that?
I just liked what they said about you kind of just have to picture what your dream life is like, and then write it out and kind of go for it. So
yes, like kind of visualizing who you want to be, right? So like most times we operate from who we are now, right? So the decisions that we make, the actions that we take or don't take, you know, we look at our capabilities now, maybe our past history, the stories that we tell ourselves, right? Some of those thoughts, and we move forward from that, right? Which you know, that's not bad. It doesn't mean that we can't accomplish things, but a lot of times it holds us back from taking that next step forward. So, and no matter what area that is of your life, relationships or work, or you know, working on your health and your nutrition, right? Like I know I shared last week a little bit, and with, I know Tani heard this, that this book was a pivotal point for me to start to say, I don't have to operate just from who I am, right? And treat myself for just who I am, but to be working from that person that I am going to be, right? So, or that I want to be, that best version of myself that I see, and make decisions as that person. And I think that was a really great reinforcing point that we got last month too, with the Atomic Habits, as we talked about working from your identity instead of just working from your goals. So I think that's a huge takeaway. That's really great. So Pascal, welcome. Glad to have you.
I had the wrong meeting ID, sorry.
Oh, you did? Oh my gosh. That's because I'm just like flighty tonight. Thank you for responding to that email. I unfortunately didn't see it because we were sitting down to dinner, but I did email everybody that, but I'll probably just throw it up on the screen, the workbook, and you guys can go through it too when we get done. So, but anything else? Any other, we're just kind of talking about any quotes that we really liked, or any areas that we want to make sure we cover tonight, or things that really kind of stood out about us.
I loved when she had us write the 3 things that you're waiting to do, and when you lose the weight. And so I wrote my 3 things, and then she like, bullcrap. You can do those things right now.
Wasn't that?
And that was that aha moment. Well, yeah. Hello. Why am I waiting until I lose the weight? I can do that now.
Yeah, I think that was probably the most eye-opening thing when I had read this too. She talked about you know, going, and I think it's probably in a later chapter, but she said, you know, we need to feel good as who we are now. And so she said, you should go shop for clothes that fit you now. You shouldn't wait till you're a size whatever and then you say you can go shopping. And I was like, I was at the point, so like I had been in size like 16 jeans, and now I was like at a size 10, but I felt like I should get to a 6 or an 8. So I was like, it was like just that dagger in my heart of like, I am waiting. I'm waiting on the weight, and I shouldn't be, because I, have already achieved so much and I feel good, and I should feel like I can celebrate where I am right now and at every one of those stages. So I think that was a really, really great point. There was one of the highlighted quotes from the introduction that I really like, where she's just talking about how we're not moving, the champagne diet is not a diet, right? In that traditional sense. And she said, "Hear me out, ladies. Diets do not work. There is no amount of points, frozen dinners, calorie counting methods, fitness apps, or fat-free cookies in the world that will make you a healthy person. Why? Because diets don't deal with your emotions." And I love that, right? Like we have to start inside. It's not just about the things that we do externally. And I might use our bonus week this month to do a training on the thought model, on just how we can change our thoughts, right? Which will then change those feelings that we have, which will then help us to shape the actions that we take, and lead to more positive outcomes. So I think that that's so important to remember. Diets don't deal with your emotions. So, if we're looking only to that external factor and we never really are trying to do the work of loving ourselves more, right? Or recognizing, why when we lose weight or we make changes or we feel better, it's still not enough for us, then it doesn't work. And I know I've learned so much over the last 6 years, but there's been so many times still that I had yo-yoed up and down, right? That 5 or 10 pounds up and down, up and down, up and down. And I'm like, why do I keep doing this? Why do other people have breakaways and keep it away? And why can't I keep that away? Has anyone else ever felt like that? Right? Like, and I'm like, there has to be some magic answer that I'm just going to hear, and it's just going to go boom. And then you're going to be like, that's what I've been waiting for all of these years. And, that never really came. So I just started diving into learning more, right? Educating myself, like learning about different nutrition, I guess, mindsets and plans, and trying different things and seeing what really worked for me. But all that time also working inside, right? And like over the last year, since September, I have gained some weight, and I don't know, like I want to be healthier to reach my goals, right? I want to kind of release, whatever that came over the holidays or whatever. But at the same time, like I don't feel like I'm beating myself up like I was 5 years ago. Like I still love that body that I have right now, and I recognize the changes that I can make are to make it stronger and better, not because it's not good right now. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Does anyone else felt like that or want to kind of share some thoughts on that? What do you think? Jamie, you agreed. What do you think when you kind of read through that?
Well, so like the yo-yo thing, everybody, and I don't know if it's everybody, but a lot of people, fall, you put on the winter weight, and then, like so many people are like so hard on themselves. I'm hard on myself. If I go up a few more pounds and I'm like, God, I worked so hard to get to that, and now look where I'm at again because of whatever, you know what I mean? Like you just get up there and then you're like, okay, and then it's a cycle,
Mm-hmm.
But if you kind of have those moments, like in the book, where it's like, okay, you can have your whatever, you have to have a treat because this is going to be your life now. And then you can't beat yourself up because you want to have that one piece of pizza or that one whatever that day. If you eat good all the other times, you have to have that little treat. You have to have that little whatever.
Yeah. I mean, we're, perfection really shouldn't be the goal. And I think that was always my goal, right? Was to do it perfect. And so I would do it perfect for so long, but then I was like, well, it doesn't seem fair to never have that. So, so I I hope the coaching that you guys receive like helps to instill that in you, that, you know, how we can be mindful of eating, and that's the goal, is to mindfully plan for those pieces of pizza or those treats, right? And help serve ourselves with the other needs, the emotional parts, and, you know, the other reasons we turn to food, or the reason we may eat more processed food or junk food. You know, that we do that for other reasons too. So I put together, let me show you what I put together. Well, let me see if I have it up. Hold on a second. Let me show you this worksheet. And then you guys can take some notes. Shoot, where'd it go? But you could also print these out. So I apologize that it wasn't attached to the email. I was so proud of myself. I had it all done and I was on time with everything, and then I forgot to attach it. Pascal, you just like I know she's laughing. She's like,
No, but sometimes I just miss it because it comes somewhere else. So I figured I missed it.
Okay, so I kind of took a lot the questions that she asked and kind of put them in one spot, because I think it's really good for us to kind of go through that. So just kind of looking at that first chapter, like what are some things that come to mind when you guys think of your experience with dieting and weight loss?
Starvation.
Starvation. Yeah. What else? Just name out a few.
Frustrated about not seeing results fast enough.
Mm-hmm. For me, yo-yo. That was me for sure.
You know,
Yeah. Deprive.
Yes, yes.
Anything else? So, and now, Mindy, go ahead.
Guilt.
Guilt. Okay. Yes. Guilt, shame, right? Feeling not enough. I did a post on Sunday because I was just like reading through this stuff and just having all those feelings, right? And remembering all of that stuff. So and I love this question too. How would you feel if you never had to think about your weight again?
Relieved.
Relief?
happy,
Happy?
confident,
Confident. I like that.
Excited.
Excited?
At peace.
At peace. Good. Why do you feel like we put so much emphasis on it? On our weight? Why do you think we give ourselves those feelings?
it's kind of pushed in media, and especially for like moms, you know, you get that mom feel. So then you feel like you have to do it all. You have to still be the wife, the mom, the person, the sister, the friend, you know, it's kind of everywhere.
Yeah, good. So just societal as a whole, right, has kind of always projected this this picture of being skinny or, you know, thin, right? I can't remember, was it in the book she talked about that quote from Kate Moss?
Oh, yes.
Nothing tastes as good as skinny feels.
Yep.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And really how we, you know, that just right there in the mindset turns us to externally how healthy should feel, right? Do you think if we didn't think about it as much, we would probably just be healthier? We don't worry so much about what it meant and about failing or how to do it right.
No.
No.
No, I love food too much.
So I mean, I think it's really, again, it just all comes back to like, we have to change those thoughts that have been planted there sometime, right? And not to say that they're wrong, but we got to change them to a way that is empowering and inspiring to us, right? And helps us to feel feelings of just those feelings of empowerment and confidence that we can be healthier and that we can do it in the right ways. So I love that this is all about kind of celebrating our bodies. So anyone with their books, any quotes from like the first chapter that you want to kind of share that really stuck out to you? I'm going to share one right just from the beginning while you're looking at that. So she said, unless you truly believe that you deserve an amazing life, you will never, ever be successful at eating well and being healthy and ultimately losing weight. Unless you create a beautiful world filled with all of the things you love, you will never make positive change in your life that lead you to love yourself and your body. What do you think about that?
Well, I think the most important thing after that is to understand how the biology of the body works, because we're just harming or doing bad things to our body when we diet and we eat junk. Just understanding that helps going the right way.
Mm-hmm. Yep, good.
The industry puts a lot of money into selling lipstick and mascara and fancy clothes and everything, but it's not putting the value at the right place.
Yeah. Yep.
You can have all the clothes in the world, and if it's in your mind doesn't work, you're never going to feel good anyway. So
yeah. So again, it talks about that identity, right? And I think it was Tani talked about, just kind of that vision of who we are. And honestly, over the last week, at the beginning of the year, we shared, and I shared some things about vision and creating vision, but I really feel like it would be beneficial to go in and dig into that, right? If we don't really know who we want to be, sometimes that gets really hard. Like I feel like moving from a career, outside the home career mom to being a mom to now being a mom and running a business, and like it can just it's like, who am I, right? Other than right here in this minute that my kids need me to be mom and I'm a wife, right? We kind of put those titles, but like, who is that best person to me? What does she want to do now, right? What's important to her other than just taking care of the things in front of you? And I really, I don't know if it was COVID and just everyone being home more, or all of the things kind of just shut down that were keeping me busy and occupied, right? Which happened a lot, right? Because we didn't go out and do anything, but it just really got me into this space of thinking, man, like, where is that identity for me, and what do I want? And I think it's really good for us to spend time in that and to not be afraid to want things for us, right? So, and that doesn't have to be any specific thing. In fact, for me, it's kind of been being at peace with knowing, instead of feeling like I have to have all of these hats and I have to be super successful at everything, that it's really good for me to be a mom, like it's really good for me to be a mom and love that. And it's okay for me to love that. I don't have to be, the most successful business person and a mom and be the PTA president and do, I don't have to wear all of those hats all of the time. I can choose what to do for me and be okay with that. I don't have to look to other people and see what they want to. And I think, through reading and journaling, challenging myself, looking at affirmations that I want to identify with my life, like all of those things have really helped me to start becoming, right? And getting more to that point of who I want. And that helps me to be okay with who I am versus worrying about what everyone else feels like, what I feel like everyone else thinks I should be, which is really still here, right? Because it's not other people, it's really us that are kind of putting that in place too.
That's why I liked the quote, the fastest way to be miserable is to compare yourself to someone else.
Yeah.
Because every time you do, and it's, it's just stupid. You get in your head, oh, look at her, for whatever reasons that you compare. she's got it all together today. She has her hair done and she's out doing all this stuff with her kids. And then I'm here, you know what I mean? I'm in my pajamas and my kids are watching TV.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, it's what we feel like we should be, right? But in reality, like, honestly, we all have those days where we're like, have it all together. But how many of those are in between all those days that we have nothing together? Right? So I think that's awesome. But, you know, Kara goes on to say, you know, do you honestly think you deserve all the happiness, love, and success in the world? Ooh, that's a heavy question, right? Like that takes a lot of soul searching and a lot of belief, putting a lot of belief back in ourselves, that we do, right? So, but I hope, that's the whole reason, like I love bringing people together in this, right? Is that we can become more, and I always struggled with that, becoming more, but being satisfied with who you are. It just seemed like those conflicted, you know, rubbed heads against each other. But, you know, I understand, like, you know, we are enough. You know, if you believe in a God, like he makes up for what we're not. If you don't, like the thing, you know, maybe even just believing that, you know, the best is always going to come to us, right? And that allowing us to be enough, you know, within that too. So anything else from chapter 1? Oh, this was one more though. When you're feeling a moment of crazy coming on, I want you to stop and ask yourself these questions. 1, am I going to die? 2, is someone else going to die? 3, will the world end? I thought that was really just a great way to just pause and say, it's going to be okay, right? Like we are okay. So I love the way that she put that. Awesome. Okay. So how about chapter 2? So chapter 2, we talked about, it was talking about the diet industry a little bit more. What was kind of eye-opening there? What do you guys relate to?
I love how she talks a lot about the Weight Watcher diet and how, because I've been on Weight Watchers, and how unhealthy that diet is. And then she goes through the ingredients of what is in the frozen meal. And I was that girl for a while who ate all those meals. And it's true. Isn't that, am I jumping ahead or is that?
Oh yeah, no, that's, you're right on. Yep.
Okay.
Isn't that eye-opening too?
Yes.
Like, and
how unhealthy it was for us.
and I think, what do you like, what's the lesson learned in that, Tani? What do you think?
What was I doing to my body? I mean, my body didn't need that crap that I put into it.
Yeah.
It needs, it's not all about, well, for Weight Watchers, it wasn't all about being healthy. It was more about a fast way to get you to lose weight. And then, yeah. So, yeah, it basically was not good for your body.
Yeah.
And it's better that you are healthy than skinny.
So one lesson I take from a lot of that is, like, I didn't know any better. I drank protein shakes because somebody told me it's good to drink a protein shake after a workout, and they tasted terrible. The ones I was using, I mean, anyone that I tried really tasted terrible, and I didn't like it. But I'm like, well, I exercise hard, so I probably should take a protein drink, right? Like we were taught, like Weight Watchers are, you know, these special foods that were there to make it easier for us, right? And that's what we need. We need it easy. We need things that can be, and we just didn't know any better. I think, like, I think deep down we all know like it's great to eat whole food, but I know probably at different times when I tried different diets, like I just kind of did what I was told,
Right.
So to me, the lesson is we need to educate ourselves, right? Like we need to build more knowledge about, not only, the whys have become really important to me, right? Not only, why is it healthier to eat whole foods, and what do these different whole foods do? And how does our body use, vegetables differently than proteins? What's their purpose, right? Like Tani, we talked about this Friday a little bit, right? The purpose of our food,
Yeah.
foods, and how it can help us to fill those gaps. And like, so now that, I just feel like it was such a good, such a good lesson, like hearing those stories and us kind of living through at whatever level, having tried lots of different things, is like, we need to dig down and just educate ourselves, right? And then find the solution that works really best. And, Kara said that too. She said, I never truly learned how to eat healthy. I remember grabbing the Weight Watchers book. My mom had one and I grabbed it, and it was just, I mean, it was like hundreds of pages of like points. And I'm like, oh my gosh, how do I even put this together? It just seems so complicated and hard. And it was like, and I think Weight Watchers, a lot of people that I hear on Weight Watchers now kind of share a different story than probably like this time when they had when it was just all about living on frozen pizza and the frozen meals. And I had a lot of friends who would share stories about saving up points, right? Because you could do that on Weight Watchers. And so on the weekends they would binge on all of these things that they shouldn't, that aren't good for us, but they had the points to be able to do it. So it really wasn't a system to teach them about eating healthy, and I think Kara kind of talked about that too, how, she did this, but she never really learned how to eat healthy. And it was like, well, once we learned, like, that's not what we should be doing, it's like, oh, okay. Like Diet Coke isn't the same as water. I get it now, right? I can make those changes and make that difference. So to me, I think a lot of this chapter, it's really good to recognize, like, it's okay that we went through those things. Like they were all leading us to do something else, to find the solution that works for us. But it's important that we become students, right? And educate ourselves and learn more and try things and experiment, so that we know what works best for us. And what kind of creates that good for us. So another quote that she had, she said, once my emotions became my weight loss barometer, I was suddenly free from the vicious cycle of dieting that plagued me most of my life. Eating good food made me feel good, and that became the measure of my success. So I try to look for that a lot more too now, right? Like, you guys know, like, what foods make you feel best when you eat them? And I don't want like a textbook answer. I want to know like your specific foods. Like I shared with Tani, like grapefruit makes me feel really good. That's probably my superfood. Fruit. I love grapefruit. Makes me feel good. You guys noticed any foods that really make you feel good? Like when you eat them, like you just feel really good?
I think cucumbers, like, I don't know. I know this is like the whole educating thing again. Like, I didn't know lemons. I always heard, put lemon in your water. It tastes good. It kind of hydrates you, but I didn't know all of the extras that it does for you. And so I was actually reading in this, but it's like the cucumbers, they just make me feel good. I don't know.
Even like, so Jamie and we're both part of the group doing the 3-day refresh this week. And even like today, I can just tell, like, just not putting any sugar in my body and like just eating more vegetables. Like I can't even describe it, but it's like, I know when that good feeling is. It feels leaner. It feels I just feel like maybe it's energy. I don't know. Like I just, I can tell, right? when
Yeah.
I'm
And the
feeling
no
good.
meat today, or the no eating meat. Like, I don't know. I like meat. I never really thought about it until she was talking about being a vegetarian too. But after today, not having any meat or anything like that at all, I think it's just the vegetables. I feel good. I'm
Yeah.
tired, but I feel good.
Awesome. So, and then I notice, and I always know, if I dive too much into like sugary foods and stuff, I know I'm always going to I just feel like, I feel like I don't want to eat anything else, right? Like I just feel like, ugh, like I feel full, but not in a good, satisfied way, like in an overly like ate Thanksgiving dinner every meal type way. Like, and I find myself, I'm always like, why do so I think like mentally, as we start to gain that picture of foods that make us feel good, like let's stop ourselves and say, how do I want to feel? How do I want to feel after I eat lunch? What do I have to do? Okay, I've got my kids, I'm going to be running around, like they're going to need a lot. I want to feel a lot of energy, right? Like I don't want to feel run down, like I got to just sleep on the couch all night, type of a thing. So I think like paying attention to that barometer, I think is a great way to help us to stay within those healthier choices that we want to make too. So Tani brought up the questions that are on here, and I want you guys to go through those, right? Like, did you guys, when you read the book, like what were some of the things that you were waiting on? Does anyone care to share?
Dressing nicer. Like, I feel like I get kind of in that frumpy, like comfortable. This is just like, okay, I'll put on that one outfit, and
Yep.
then you guys kind of get stuck into it. So to have a nice, cute wardrobe, I don't know. Is what I want.
That totally was one of mine, because I've been wearing sweatpants around, I think, for like 3 weeks now, or pajama
Me
pants or something
too.
like that. So I just want you to see, like I wore jeans today, and I love it because I was like,
Yay.
I'm gonna just get dressed, right? Like even just getting dressed, you just feel better than walking around in sweatpants and stuff some days. And so I think that's a huge one. That's a great one. Good. Anyone else?
Mine was also getting dressed. I've been wearing sweats and pajama bottoms. And Saturday, I actually put on Levi's and I put on makeup that I don't usually do. And it made me feel a lot better.
Good. Yes, I love it. So I'm not much of a makeup person I just never really have been much of a makeup person, but even today I'm like, you know what? I'm going to have eyeliner and mascara, if nothing else, every day, just so I did the effort of making myself look a little bit more polished, a little bit more put together for what I wanted. That's awesome. Anything else you guys are waiting on? Sometimes like like even just when I'm not eating well, then I tell myself I can't have these other things that I spend a little bit more money on that are better for me because I've not eaten well that day. Does anyone do that or anything like that? That was one that I put on my list, because sometimes I'm like, oh well, I didn't do well, so I should just wait till tomorrow to have these foods when I'm eating better anyway.
Right. I do that.
So, and this was great, when she said, okay, now none of those things are valid, right? Like there's nothing that we want to do that we can't do. Go on a vacation, go shopping, get dressed for the day. Any of those things, we can do those now. So you guys, I want you to take your list, go through these reasons too, right? I think that was great for her to say, okay, well, give me a reason why you can't do this now, other than, our thoughts in our head. So whatever you have on your list, like take some time and make some action plans. When are you going to do it? How are you going to get there? Right. So, so that you're not necessarily just waiting on the wait. I think that's important. Okay, and then chapter 3. So let's talk about meals, making our meals glamorous. What do you guys think? What were some big takeaways that you took from chapter 3?
I like the idea of like dressing up your table a little bit, like obviously you're gonna feel better if you go to a fancy restaurant, you have all this nice stuff, it kind of makes it special. And then if you're having just vegetables and chicken again for the night, you're gonna be like, this is what I'm having again. But if you dressed it up and put it in a nice little plate, like she said, drink your water with your lemon out of a champagne glass or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Yep, I love that. I love that. So important. I think when the to be mindset was added to Beachbody, this is something that Alana really taught me, and she just, from her excitement, I got excited to have no more boring salads. That was one thing she said, right? Like, no more boring salads. It's not just lettuce, like dress it up, put things on it, make it look pretty and look enjoyable and things like that. Like, we can do that. We can add variety and we can change things. So even in addition to like how we plate our food, I think like just, allowing ourselves to mix it up, to make it look nice, to even put it out on a plate. Like I did that tonight. Like I had all of our meals put together in bento boxes. So it's just really easy the next couple of days and we don't have to cook much. But instead of just eating it out of the bento box, I put it on the plate. I arranged the cucumbers, the tomatoes, the peppers, so it looked really nice. And when Jared came up, because he was working a little bit later, and he's like, oh, wow, these look great. Like, he would never say like this big, huge plate of salad. Like, he's like, that looks amazing, right? Like, and it does. We think sometimes like those things won't be amazing vegetables, but man, they're so beautiful if we just take a little bit of time and have fun with that and plate it. So what are some other ways to glamorize your meals?
I like the little spices that she said to add to it, switch it up. And it's true, if you add a little bit of lime to something, it changes the whole flavor, even if it is a salad or your chicken or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Getting creative spices.
Yeah, spices and, maybe different dressings or things like that, even for salads. So, but especially like for our meat and stuff like that, there's so much variety in like spices and things that we can utilize for that. I think that's awesome.
Can we eat it without our children?
Yeah, let's do it more often. What else? Anything else as far as glamming up your meals?
Just enjoying what you're eating.
Yeah.
Enjoying it and not just engulfing it or hurrying it up. Just enjoy every bite.
Yeah. Yeah. I wrote down like 3 things that she kind of talked about food when I was reading through it. Like, number 1, eat well, right? Pick good, wholesome foods. Number 2, just what Tani said, eat mindfully and pleasantly and presently is what I put, right? Like, plate your meals, don't grab them out of the container and that's a meal. Be present, slow down. Don't be on your phone or doing something else. Like, actually just be eating when you're eating. Like, all those things I think were really good. And I thought too, like, one thing that's really helped me that I learned from the to be mindset was water first. So to drink your water before your meals. And it just like, it kind of allows me just that few moments to become present that I'm going to eat. Cause I definitely can get to be in a on the go eater type thing, like there's always something, or like I'm, feel like I could multitask or do something like this. And like, but taking that time and just being present and actually chewing your food, not just inhaling it, between running kids to different activities, is a really good thing too. So, and the third thing she talked about too was being forgiving of yourself, right? Like, allow yourself, like, not every, there are going to be nights that we just inhale the pizza, right? Or just, you know, are so tired that, you know, we just don't do what was planned, or we, you know, whatever it is. And those nights are going to happen. Those days are going to happen. And it's okay. We can move through those, so we don't have to let them stand in our way. You know, to really only, you know, to that is all that it has to be. So, but a couple like glam up your meal type things that I really love to do. Like I know she mentioned like lemons in your water. I love like trying different infused water recipes or something, or adding different things. I'll share a recipe in the group, but last night I made some lemon ginger water. So it would just be something fun, you know, to have a little bit different, you know, as far as my water goes and things like that. Again, I like putting it on a plate. I think that's, you know, where you can see your meal and you can make it look pretty. I like Jamie's suggestion as far as, you know, drinking out of a fun glass or using fun dishes and things like that. I think that those are really good things too. And trying new foods, to me, that's glamorous too, right? Is to not just have the same foods all the time. Like we love in the summer, we try to always like go to the farmers markets or something and find something that we've never had before, right? And sometimes it might just be purple carrots instead of orange carrots or something like that, but it's always fun, you know, and I think that makes our meals great when we try different things too. So anything else from chapter 3? She did talk a little bit about just kind of like some helpful things as far as more nutrient dense food and things like that. So and I will say, I mean, I'm not a vegetarian and I don't plan to be, but you know, Beachbody has a plan called the 3-day or the ultimate reset. It's a 3-day plan where you really go to more of a plant-based diet. And just like Jamie was saying, just experiencing even, you know, through eating more vegetables and less meat today, like that was a great experience. And eating that way really does feel good. I missed some of that. I miss the meat because I like meat. So, but it really does feel good to eat more vegetables, to eat more plant-based, and to have that too. So, so you guys taking action from chapter 3, like I want you to just take inventory. You know, I always had a hard time just like throwing everything out. And I do believe like in stepping forward to make our pantries and make our fridges better, right? Like they don't have to, you know, it's hard to throw everything out and try to replenish everything at the same time on a budget standpoint and things too. So just try to make things better. And I want you to kind of clue in again to what feels good. Like what are those foods feel good? Which ones don't help you feel good? Right? And focus on bringing in those foods that help you to feel good. So take some time this week and go through your fridge, your pantry, your cupboards. There might be things that you just completely get rid of, right? There might be other things where you find like, I would love to have more of this, right? In my fridge, so that I do eat that more often, or I am grabbing more vegetables or whatever it is. So take some time to do that, right? And have the right foods there. I know there's some foods like out of sight, out of mind is great, so that I can have it in my house and eat it more mindfully. There's other things that I know it's good to buy it only when I'm going to have it, because I just don't have as much, you know, control with it, or it just, you know, it just doesn't serve me to have it here. And so I do that, and I make it work for me, not because I can't have things, just because I found a better system to eat better, eat more mindfully, you know, the things that I want to have too. So, and as I make these worksheets, I'm going to put these manifestos. I think these are really great, you guys, good affirmations, great things to really write down. You know, if any of these really speak to you, or there was, you know, a particular chapter that really spoke to you, say these to yourself daily, write them down. Like there's such a powerful brain body connection when we actually physically write out something. But was there any of these manifestos that you guys loved more than others, or that you really kind of assimilated to you?
The first one, that I truly believe I am worthy of an amazing life, and my weight did not define what I am capable of or what I deserve.
Mm-hmm.
I really love that.
I love that too.
Because I don't know, I define my life on, I'm gonna have an amazing life when I'm thin, but not until I get there.
That waiting, huh?
Yeah.
Good. I love that one. That's probably my favorite one too, because I think that's so important to continue to remind ourselves, you know, and to find clarity in that, in who we are. So one thing that I'm going to do is, so I want you guys to share your food, right? Have fun with that. Make it glamorous. Find ways to do that and share it in our Facebook group, you know, or in the bod group too, if you're in there. Like, have fun with that. I think as we have I love taking pictures of my food just because I know when I'm gonna take a picture, I'm gonna make it look nice. And I just love sharing nice food, and I love eating nice food. So have fun find ways to make your food glamorous. Share that in the group this week. And I'm gonna also just put a post up every night. So I'll start tomorrow after this meeting, but it's just gonna be an evening toast is what I'm gonna call it, right? Toast to something good that happened that day, a good decision you made, something that made you feel good about your health. I want you guys to just share some of those. And you know, I think it's gonna really help us to take these and really look for those pieces of our diet and our life that we feel good about too. So I'm excited to see what you toast to each evening, and have a lot of fun with that too. So we will be reading 4 through 7 for next week. And again, I apologize, but I have emailed you the worksheets, so you guys have those. Print them out, take action, or if you put them in your notebook, you can do that too. But go through those exercises. I think that those are great things, great questions that she posed in those chapters, and good things for us to move forward with. So that's it. Okay, you guys, have a great night. I look forward to see you next week.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.